Hey everybody, James with Rowe-Thrush. Welcome to the Solution Selling Show. I hope you all had a fantastic Halloween this year. I know I did myself. I only had 3 kids this year that were too afraid to come into my mini haunted house that I did, one of which did come back later with her dad. So I guess you could say there were only 2 kids that did not want to come in. And I had no children crying this time, refusing to come in. So I guess that's a plus that I didn't make any children cry this year. So welcome to our show today. First, the Solution Selling Show. What is it? This is a weekly podcast that we put on for the Granger sales force, where basically every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time, we bring on a different supplier partner of ours and we interview them live while asking them questions that we feel a Granger account manager would want to know. Why we like to live stream these too is that way if you want to engage with the supplier being interviewed, you can join us in the chat and type in questions to ask them and get answers right then and there to help your customers out. Today, we have Robertshaw coming on, and I'm going to pull up Peter now. So welcome to the show, Peter. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks, James, for getting me on here, and I look forward to the talk today.
Yeah, looking forward to having you on too. First time having Robertshaw on our show. So looking forward to getting into the world of cooking controls and heating and air conditioning repair parts and just everything that Robertshaw has to offer. Before we get into that, why don't you introduce yourself really quick? Just tell us, what it is that you do at Robertshaw, how long you've been there, and maybe a little bit more about your history.
Okay, good. I'm going to start off by throwing something out there. Maybe somebody can throw something in the chat by the end of this meeting and give me the answer. But so Robertshaw, there's a famous actor out there that I want to know if anybody knows what movie that person has been in. So Robertshaw, this one is Robert Shaw, one word, where the actor, of course, is Robert Space Shaw. So I'll throw that out there. Let's see what kind of comments we get and think away. I've been with Robertshaw now for 6 years. I'm the senior director for the aftermarket channel for all of the Americas, which includes the Canadian part of it. I have 30 years experience in this industry that you people belong to and work in. That's the heating, the ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration. That's the appliance segment, the commercial refrigeration. That's kind of all of that stuff. So I have a long history of that type of business. So that's me. I can jump right into a little bit real quick about Robertshaw, James, if you'd like me to kind of run there.
Before we get into that, there is one other question before we get into explaining who Robertshaw is. So each season we have a question that we like to ask, and it's a little bit of a personal question. Last year it was, what is your favorite movie and why? And why I like to ask that of everybody was because I'm quite the movie buff, and when you said, oh, there's somebody by the name of Robert Shaw that was in a movie and what was it, I immediately started thinking, and I can't think of the movie off the top of my head, so I'm looking forward to finding out what that movie is at the end here. But I think I do remember once seeing somebody by the name of Robert Shaw and thinking to myself, haha, just like our supplier, our manufacturer that we rep. Right. But that all aside, the question of this year, though, this season is, what is your favorite band and why?
My favorite band, Eagles, all day long.
Eagles.
Man, I just saw them in concert in New Orleans. We were just talking about New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
I saw them there, and it was incredible. The way the guitars come to the stage, they're all aiming, playing the same thing. It was incredible concert. I know there's Glenn Fry had his son there in the front because I saw it when Glenn was no longer with him. And also Vince Gill stepped in. So it was kind of a really cool thing. I wish I would have saw the original and then this one, but I think they're a classic no matter where you're listening to them.
Oh yeah, great band. Love their music. Actually, my parents, one of their first dates, they were dancing to Hotel California.
Yeah.
So it's a memorable band, if you will, for them.
Sure.
So and I love their music. How many members are in the Eagles anyway? I mean, they're like six or seven, or
Well,
is there
yeah, and
more?
there's the main three, maybe four are left, and then like Vince is in, and Glenn Fry's son's in, and then there's a couple other parts, but yeah, it's as close to original as you can get.
So you've only seen them play live once,
Yep, that
or
was it.
y-
Never had
yeah,
another chance to see him, but that was really, really impressive.
very good. Well, thank you so much for the music recommendation.
Oh, you're
I'm a
welcome.
big Eagles fan myself, and because of that, I will be listening to some Eagles music on my way home from work today. So thank you
Beautiful.
for that recommendation for that as well.
You're welcome.
Um, So now getting back into the show, tell us a little bit about Robertshaw, what it is that they do, maybe, their founding, because they're a pretty old company too,
Right.
and just give us a snapshot of Robertshaw.
Right. So Robert Shaw's been around since the late 1800s, uh, and we are a global company. We have over 5,000 employees in 13 countries. Um, Huge engineering innovation center with over 600 engineers staffed. We have the manufacturing facilities. We have 10 of those across the globe. Aftermarket distribution, there's 2,000 locations and more than that, I believe. And the distribution centers, there's three of those. So that's kind of the entity involving Robertshaw. We get into a lot of the products like HVAC, refrigeration, but in the early 1900s, we started from gas water heater stuff. So, and then when we moved into the 1900s, that's when the appliance segment started to rear its head, like the gas range controls, the kitchen appliance areas, the laundry, the ovens, the stuff you see in the MRO business out there in the apartments and things like that. And then in the late 1900s, that's when we moved more into the HVAC and the refrigeration controls and expanded the line from there. So we're very much involved in the appliance segment, but growing and growing within the HVAC refrigeration segment, which I spend most of my time in. There you go.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for doing that overview about Robertshaw. Now, if you want to learn more about Robertshaw, go ahead and click the QR code down below. That will take you to Grainger.com and everything we have there. Actually, we have a link for Robertshaw on Grainger.com, Paragon at Grainger.com, and Ranco, the three Robertshaw brands that we currently have it loaded into Grainger, as well as their YouTube channel and their website. So scan that QR code if you want to learn more. Now, Peter, when it comes to the types of customers that would be interested in Robertshaw products, who would those customers be?
Sure. And it's funny you say customers because there's so many different types of customers. You know, we have service techs, contractors. We have customers of Grainger that are resellers, are homeowners, are end users. So it's a wide range of customers, but the industries they work in could be heating, could be ventilation, could be the air conditioning segment. A lot of the customers are focused on the whole appliance segment. What revolves around the residential appliance segment. You know, I'm talking about like a refrigerator or like an oven or washer dryer. I'm not talking about like a blender or something like that, but I'm talking about generally those type of residential large appliances. And also we get into the commercial refrigeration segment as well. So we cover almost every spectrum and almost every part of a buyer that jumps on and tries to find out what's going on at Grainger and what's stocked there and what's available and where, you know, how they can get it.
Great. So, with that all said, it sounds like property management and hospitality, those would be two really big ones regarding Grainger Granger type customers.
Perfect.
But really, anybody that has heating and air conditioning, anybody that has a water heater too, there's a potential for some Robertshaw products. So manufacturing, government, education, all of the different verticals that Granger calls on. Really, there's a good fit for Robertshaw, but probably the two bigger ones would be hospitality and property management. Would you agree?
Exactly. Yes, you're spot on with that. That's why I started by, you're looking at these customers and what segments they're in, but it's also, which ones are the strongest that are probably with the audience. And that is the hospitality, that is the MRO, that's the apartments, the government buildings, even the restaurants and even like hospitals that manage, rooms and air conditioning and heating, and how do we, there's a whole service in there that our product line, and you can see in our catalog, you go in our website, you can see and scan and search, and you'll find exactly those type categories.
Excellent. Now, when it comes to those customers, let's say a Granger account manager is walking into a property management facility. What are some of the customer business issues or CBIs that they would be able to help their customers out with solutions?
Some of the first thing that comes to me is there's safety and productivity that you're thinking about, because the safety revolves around maybe the valve, the gas valve, there's safety built within that product where things can happen if something goes wrong, kind of thing. So there's safety built into a lot of those types of products. I think about truck stock. I say truck stock because I know there's a lot of service techs that are ordering stuff and buying stuff, but a lot of things that we offer are universal. So you could have one thing either in the facility sitting there and it's going to be taking care of a bunch of things, or it's on your service truck. And if you go into a site where you're trying to fix something, or at a residential home or wherever you're at, you have it in the truck, regardless of what you're looking for. These universal type products bring a lot of productivity, I think, to the table. The cost savings part of it, you can revolve around a lot of things there. First of all, of course, everybody knows price is a big thing, but when you're talking about you're going to service a piece of equipment, washer, dryer, an oven or whatever it is, we have a stronghold on the OEM segment where you go in there and you see a Robertshaw part. It's very easy to swap out like for like. There it is. They're saving a lot of time. Very easy for them to do that. So, there's a cost saving tip there. There's keep stock, right? That's a big part, James, I believe, of the Granger piece. You could do that. And then there's just a lot of things that revolve around, the homeowner and what they can look up. And if a guy's coming in to fix it and replace it, they have understanding on the website of what this product's doing. They can tie their equipment to the part that's being replaced and know that it's a true thing, rather than coming from somewhere else, not warranted or not, reliable, I should say.
What my favorite one of them, of all of those, is the cost savings part. And that's where I always kind of lead things off, as far as Robertshaw has the OEM drop-in replacement part. And that the customer, when they go to install that igniter or that gas valve, they're not going to need to do any modifications or make a bracket to get it to fit. They don't have to break off any tabs or anything like that, because it is the same part that the manufacturer put in at the factory. And that's by far my favorite thing to talk about when engaging with the Granger sales force. So thank you so much for going over the customer business issues that Robertshaw can help solve for Granger customers.
Let me add one thing to that, James. I'm going to just bounce off of what you just said. So, we have our corporate office right there in Itasca in Chicago, call it that, where we have the facility for UL testing, and we can monitor and watch the products. We're right here. We can understand what's going on. So when you're talking about your refrigerator, washing machine, whatever you're talking about, that it's a Robertshaw product that is reliable. You think about that because you never know what's being replaced in your equipment. So I wanted to touch base and put it into reality that, hey, we're right here in Chicago. So it's a good tie-in for the OEM and the parts replacement business.
Excellent. Now, you wanted to kind of talk about some products, some top sellers with Grainger and with Robertshaw. So let's start with Paragon. What is it that the Paragon brand manufactures, and what are some products that you kind of want to highlight with that?
Yeah, you brought that up earlier. The three major brands. Our company's name is Robertshaw, right? We look at the Robertshaw products as more in line with heating type things, so like furnace and the gas valves and igniters and red box branded Robertshaw stuff that that you can count on that. So, and then there's the Renko and the Paragon. So the Paragon, you guys, Grainger stocks a good bit of the Paragon products. It's the #1 selling commercial defrost timer, which is used more in like the restaurants and the bars. When you're sitting at a bar, you see a cooler behind the bar. There's a control inside there that's defrosting things. That's a Paragon defrost timer. When you go in a convenience store, you see the big beer cooler sign, the deep freeze. You walk in there and there's condensing units and things like that. That's a defrost timer. A lot of times that's running that. We also have the digital refrigeration controls that, if you don't mind, I'll move right into the Renko part of it. I can roll through these. So those are the Renko refrigeration controls that are, sister to the Paragon stuff, which are a big stocker and a mover for Grainger. It's the ETC, the refrigeration controls. And those are used all over agriculture. It's basically temperature on controls, even like in farming or just, again, restaurants or home use, or there's just a ton of use for these products. That's why I think it's probably one of the biggest and best sellers through Grainger. And then the final thing, of course, I already covered, it was the Robertshaw brand, and those are the red box igniters, and that relates to the furnace end of it. So I already spoke about that. Other than that, the new products, because those are really legacy, James. Those are the legacy products that everybody knows about the Robertshaw brand. It's more of the commercial cooking, and it's more of the appliance segment, which you were talking about your favorite things, the property management, those folks that don't know maybe to go to Grainger. Those are the ones we're expanding that line in both the US and Canada. On the website, you're going to see a lot more coming. You can see the ticker at the bottom. We're going to be at the show. We'll have some of those products there, but I think the biggest thing we're going to be launching is more of the appliance parts, trying to understand how your folks need to get a hold of replacement appliance products for the residential business.
Excellent. Yeah, and we're looking forward to having Robertshaw attend the Grainger show once again. We'll get a little bit more into trade shows here in a few moments, but that's a good call out. Now, when it comes to Robertshaw, you mentioned furnaces and gas valves, but you do more than that too. You do like the knobs and the controls for stoves and things like that as well, correct?
Yeah, that's the part that we want to move more into. I think the top movers is because the industry understands Robertshaw brand. I'm not sure they're tied so well to the Robertshaw OEM part of it all, that it's inside your equipment. So yes, it's the appliance segment that we need to move more into, and is going to be a lot more available to you. And that includes everything surrounding that. What are the OEM it's going to fit into? What are the cross sheets? What's the data points? A lot of that stuff we're working really hard with the Grainger team to get that placed on your site and get that moving and out there.
Great. Now, do you have any new products other than the cooking appliances? Anything new, innovative that's coming out anytime soon?
We don't have anything really new. It's just really product launches that we're trying to. We need to get caught up. Make sure you guys are in place with the latest products that are readily available, but they need to find it on Grainger.com.
Now, speaking of new products, a number of years ago, there was the Brayburn brand of wall thermostats
Right.
for your home use and whatnot, and those were doing quite well with Grainger, but we had to discontinue them for a period of time. And you've come back out again with Robertshaw branded thermostats, where you have digital ones, touch screen, all those, new innovations that a lot of people prefer to use these days, correct?
I'm glad you brought that up because that is the HVAC segment, right? It's the heating, ventilation. It's the wall stat. Anybody can get a wall stat. Any one of those people that we loaded up, the contractor, the end user, the homeowner. But Robertshaw carries a huge brand name on wall stats. They're known for that. I mean, I've only been here for 6 years, but I heard my first week here was like, where's your wall stats? Where's your wall stats? So we're glad we got those back. And, we came out with 8 that are perfectly set. That's what the contractor, what you need. And it's all encompassing, but it's clearly 8 SKUs. It is available through Grainger. It's on their website. You can get anything you want on it. There's also an opportunity to do branding on there. If the contractor wanted to do some branding for the home, that's available to them as well. So I'm really excited about this product launch and this product line. So that's that's available now on Grainger.com. Thanks for bringing that up.
Now, do any of these have smart features to them where everybody has a mobile app these days, and everybody likes to be able to control their thermostats or their lighting or their this or their that with their phone? Do you have that functionality available with these thermostats?
Right. So when I talk about the 8, there's the the 2 channel, and then you move up the tank. So there is one at the very top. It's the Wi-Fi unit. So it works with your app. You can turn it on with your app. You can monitor with your app in its simplest format. It's not overwhelming. It's very easy to see, to understand with a big screen. So again, those 8 encompass from this simple, easiest one all the way to the Wi-Fi unit that people like to have.
Great. And, I asked that because as much as I would like to have something like that in my home, I unfortunately can't. I have an old hydronic boiler down in my basement. So it's a very simple heating system. And our house was built in the 60s, so there was no AC at all in it. We just recently got the multi-splits installed all throughout the house a couple of years ago now. So we're adjusting nicely to having actual air conditioning in our house versus window units, which is very nice. But but yeah, we can't use any of those luxury type smart thermostats, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's that end for those folks that want that. But at the single stage unit, that's where you're at with a lot of the MRO, the apartment buildings, these type places that they just want it up and down, something very simple. I want to see it. I want to see how I can operate it. Nothing complex. So we answer every opportunity that there is within this 8 SKU spectrum, which I'm excited. Yep.
And I gotta say, there's something nice about having something that's just a simple on off, easy adjustment, like those old rotary style thermostats from way back in the day. And our previous home, we had a smart thermostat, and it had all these programs you could do. It had a UV light, in the air conditioning system, and all this and that, all these features. And it took me forever to learn how to program and how to do this and that. And, we moved into this house that we have now, and it's like, oh, I kind of like just being able to, I want it up a degree or two or down a degree or two, and just having that be that easy and simple. So there's something to that.
Hear out there. That's what we hear out there, James. There's some that, it's all over the map. Some people want all that. Some people don't want that. I live in the Gulf Coast, and there is condos everywhere along the Gulf Coast of the country. And I know my parents came down and they couldn't work that stat. So, everybody kind of reverted back to just give them something simple. So we cover all of the needs out there for everybody. I challenge them to go on and take a look at it, because I think we got some good literature and good direction on the Grainger website.
Very good. So now when it comes to the resources that you have available, what types of resources does a Grainger account manager have when partnering with Robertshaw?
So the biggest thing I would have to say is the website. The website, you can go on there. You can link into any piece of literature you want. There's cross-references on there as well. There's PDFs you can print. We have a tech service line. We offer training out there to the contractor who wants to dig more into. You've heard me talk about the commercial refrigeration. That's a little scary for some folks, but we have controls that cover that entire spectrum, from the digital, little tiny digital control, which Grainger stocks, to the old mechanical clock control. So we have everything in between. And some of those folks just want to talk and they want to get trained on that stuff. So we are a NATE certified company where we do NATE certification. So we'll come out on site wherever it takes. We'll do it over a Teams call as well. Doesn't matter if it's short, long. We'll dig in and help them through and resolve their problems if they, and help them select something for their application.
Yeah, that's a huge, especially with the Grainger sales force, the fact that we can do that. And you mentioned you could even do Teams meetings as well to do the training and whatnot. And, if anything, one thing that COVID taught us, it's that not everything requires somebody to hop on a plane or hop in a car and go and travel and visit. Sometimes you can just simply jump on a Teams meeting or a Zoom call or something like that and talk through something and go over features and benefits of a product. So that's great that you have that availability. And regarding the website, one of my favorite things too is your cross-reference tool.
Yes,
you can enter in a competitor's part number, because actually I had my boiler serviced a while ago. I was having some issues. The pilot light would not stay lit. So I had a buddy of mine come out and take a look at it. He said, your gas valve's bad. He took a picture of a competitor name. I'm not going to name any names, but gave me the part number to it. And I've still yet to go onto your website to look up and see what the Robertshaw cross equivalent would be. But I have used it many, many times in the past where a Grainger account manager has said, hey, my customer has a, H something or other, what is the Robertshaw? Do you have something that works for this? And I'll go right onto it and plug in the information, and there we go. Then all I got to do is look up to see if it's got a Grainger SKU assigned to it.
Right. You're exactly right, James. Exactly right.
Great. So you got field sales, you got education of contractors, and you have your cross-reference tools. So some powerful tools that are available to you, great resources. Now, when it comes to trade shows, we mentioned that you're going to the Grainger show in Orlando in 2024. So we're definitely looking forward to having you guys come out. You guys have been to pretty much every single one for the last 15 years, I think. I'd have to check our tracking history, but I'm pretty sure you guys go every year. So that's great that you're attending once again. We'll probably have you on again at the beginning of the year to promote your attendance to the Grainger show once again. But what other trade shows do you guys have that's coming up?
Right. So we have the Grainger show. We're excited to be there. It's the good thing is that it's US and Canada, right? So we'll be able to talk with the Canadian folks as well and make sure they're covered. Just to jump back, I didn't give you a count on that, but you're looking at over 90 sales associates that we provide to the US and Canada, even Latin America. So we have that as well covered. So that's available to them. And then we will be at the AHR show, which is in Chicago, and that's always a big show we got coming up. And then the one in Canada too. It's the CPMX. It's that show that's going to be available. That's coming up as well. So we have a lot of opportunities coming up that you can come see our products, touch, feel, talk about these controls, at least see how to install, schedule trainings, ask for more information, guidance, whatever you would like. We're here to help you guys out.
Excellent. And, there have been plenty of times over the years where I've had to work the Robertshaw booth at the Granger show
Nice.
to fill in because there'd be one person manning the booth and would need them to be able to go do a business call or take lunch or things like that. And I got to say, I wouldn't have thought that a cooking control and heating and air conditioning booth could be so busy and popular. But I kid you not, the Robert Shaw booth has some pretty consistent flow of traffic at the Granger show. And that's because the
Thank
types
you.
of customers going to the Granger show, well, they know who Robert Shaw is. They are the ones that are doing the repairs, the maintenance on these systems within their facilities.
Right.
And sometimes they just walk by and say, "Yep, I use that, I use that, and I
Right.
use that," and then they just
Right.
keep on walking down the way. They don't even want to talk to me. I don't have to pitch to them or
Right.
sell to them because they already know. And
Yep.
that's one of the things that always brings a smile to my face when I'm
Good
working the
point.
booth.
Thank you. Thank you, James.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining our show, Peter. That's everything that I have for you here today. Do you have any closing words or anything like that that you want to say to the
Well,
Granger folks out there?
well, we have something to close on, don't we? We have our little question we had put out there. So,
Yes.
so if anybody knows who that actor is, it's the Robert Space Shaw, but what movie that actor was in? I don't know if there was anything in the comments, but that's
No.
it. Do. Jaws.
Jaws.
That was
Okay.
Quint. That was Quint in Jaws. His actor name is Robert Shaw. He's the guy that got
Interesting.
chewed up when he fell down that boat. So there you go. So every time I see something come over that it says Robert Space Shaw, boom, Jaws is in my head.
That's awesome. And actually that was a movie pick from Ryan Butler with CLR Pro. That was his favorite movie back in season one when
Really
he was on our show. He said he loves Jaws. It's his favorite movie.
classic.
So that's awesome. There's a good little tie-in. I'll have to introduce
Totally,
you to Ryan
totally.
when you guys meet at the Granger show next year. So awesome.
No, so just thank you for having me on, James. I appreciate anybody that's going to be listening to this broadcast, and reach out. We want to help. We want to make sure we're partnered properly and give you the guidance that you need.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Now, for those of you that want to know who our next supplier will be, well, next Friday, November 10th, we will have United Shield on, and it's actually looking like that will be our last episode for this season. So we figured it'd be great to have United Shield on. Actually, their product is one of their products is right over my shoulder here, the Police Shield. So we figured for Veterans Day, it'd be great to have one of our more military focused type suppliers on to help out with Veterans Day and say thanks to them. So we have United Shield coming on next Friday, and it's looking like they're going to be our last supplier for the season. So don't forget to check that one out. If you have any police, military, law enforcement of any sort type customers, that'll be a good one for you to check out. All right. So with that, here is contact information for who to reach out to at Robert Shaw. So it would be Matt Balkunas. He is the national account manager with Robert Shaw. So any sales questions or anything like that, you can reach out to Matt. You could also always reach out to myself as well if you need any assistance at all. So thank you once again, Peter, for coming on to our show. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
You're welcome. Thank you, James.